Hello and welcome. I'm Diane Dayton. Behind the Lines goes Inside Sports, and with us right now we have Warren Goodling and we have Dave Brown. Basketball coaches, basketball players, and all around good guys. We are here to celebrate 40 years, going on 41 years for you, Dave Brown, with this coaching and assistant coaching, and you've been at Hempfield, and Warren is the one who talked you into assistant coaching with him at Hempfield. Is that right?
That's right. We're both from York, and played with each other in rec leagues and at Shelley Park, which is where everybody used to go in York. It was any good anyway.
Yeah.
And then he was at Northeastern, and I would occasionally come over at a workout or a practice. Not a lot, a little bit. But then when he got the job at Hempfield, he called me up and asked if I would come over. Now I was a volunteer at the time.
Okay.
So I did it and haven't left since.
Yeah, obviously so, right? You're still there, and Warren has moved on to playing on the international level at this point. So how hard was it talking Dave into this? It really wasn't, was it?
Or was I don't remember if it was hard, but I knew he loved basketball, and I knew that he could serve our kids really well. He would help me out a lot. I knew that.
Right.
And so if I had to talk him into it, I worked real hard on doing it because I was going to make sure he was able to do it.
Yeah. Well, his background, too, you graduated from York High in 1973, and I think, was it 1971, you were a member of the York High District 3 champions and Central Penn League champions.
Yes.
Boy, that was a year, wasn't it?
That was arguably the best team I think at York High ever had. Now, I know people can argue that, but it was a very good team. I mean, I was a sixth man on that team.
Okay.
And we got close. We won the district. Back then, you had to win the district title to even go into the states. It wasn't like it is now where you get 5, 6, 7 teams. You had to win the district, and right off the bat, we played District 1 champion.
Wow.
In the Palestra.
I know where that is.
9,000 packed, 9,000 people. And unfortunately, we lost to Norristown, who had an All-American player, Henry Williams. And we didn't play as well as I think we could have. And then they went on actually to lose in the state finals to Pittsburgh Shenley, who had Maurice Lucas, who ended up playing for Portland Trailblazers, won an NBA title. So it was some good teams that year, obviously, but we were pretty good too.
Yeah. How old were you when you started playing basketball, when you picked up the ball?
Well,
do you remember?
No.
No.
I mean, again, playing, I lived in the city, so I had a basket in the alley next to a light pole, and my dad put up, and it was about 10 feet wide, but about 300 yards wide.
Okay.
But it's width wide, and I played there all the time, obviously, and then got into playing on parks and things like that.
Who taught you? Your dad? Is that?
My dad. Yeah, my dad did most of it, and he was. The good story there is we used to play. He'd play 1-on-1 until I beat him, and then once I beat him, he never played again.
No, really?
Really.
How old were you when that happened?
Don't even know. I just remember. I remember beating him, and that was the last time we played.
Warren, what do you have to add to that?
Well, his dad and my brother were best friends in high school.
Okay.
So that's sort of the connection there. They were really good friends, and they played on the same high school basketball team together. So I knew Newt Brown, his dad, when I was real little. Okay. So, but I can believe that when Dave beat him, Newt probably said, "Okay, I did my job. Now it's, go ahead. I'm done.
You're done.
Getting beat by you now." Is probably what he said.
Wow. So there is a story with that too. What do you remember with that relationship with?
Well, I remember, and I didn't know Warren when he was in high school personally.
Okay.
But I remember my dad taking me to a West York game because Warren was playing. I don't remember much about the game. I remember going, and that's why we went.
Okay.
And I knew his brother more than after that I started going to Shelley Park, which is in West York,
Right.
to play every Saturday and every Sunday,
Okay.
and with about 50 other guys.
Oh, wow.
It was I think, as good environment for basketball as I've ever been in.
It was awesome.
Because if you lost,
Yep.
you had to wait for about an hour to an hour and a half to play again.
And you waited.
And you waited.
You waited.
Or you went across the street to Green's Dairy, got something to drink.
Yep.
Nowadays, unfortunately, if a kid loses, they wouldn't do that today. They would go home.
So you could put 5 hours, dedicate your time for 5 hours, knowing that you might be playing 3 good games. But
Okay.
you stick around. You wanted to be a good player. You stuck
Right.
around, and you
Okay.
played against all the good players.
Wow.
And you could have situations where we had 5 college players on one team and 4 on the other, and then the other guy that was terrible. And you ran into those situations, so that team was in trouble.
A lot of good stories from Shelley Park, for
Yeah.
sure.
And the court itself, if you looked at it, you'd say, why are they playing on this court?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not a good court,
But
but it was just where it was, and the atmosphere, it was
Yeah.
awesome.
It was centrally located for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
I
And
think
right
that
next to the
was the-
fairgrounds, which,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
was close to the city.
Right.
But we had people from Dallastown, all over the place. I had actually at one point when we moved, I mean, I knew I came over toward the end from Lancaster to play.
Okay. Wow. Well, your dad and his brother, there's stories with that too. Because your brother, tell us a little bit about your brother.
Well, my brother went to York High and played at York High, and then he was the head coach at William Penn Harrisburg for 6 years. He was the head coach before he went to Shippensburg to become the head coach at Shippensburg University. I think he was there 31 years.
Okay.
But he would come to York, and he always talked about Newt Brown, and I know that they were high school buddies.
Right.
So
That's
they not only played basketball and sports together, they hung out together.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I know that the relationship with the two of you, it's one of those as well, where you know each other so well. It's almost
Yeah.
like brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, we had.
I talk to him on the phone even now more than anybody else in my life.
Yeah.
Now, when we coached, it was every day. Now it's only
Yeah.
once, 2, sometimes 3 times a week.
I call up, check in, see how he's
Okay.
Yeah,
doing.
so
That's good.
which is
Yeah.
great because
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that relationship that you had at Hempfield during your tenure with Warren, because there were a lot of great teams that went through there. What are some highlights that you remember too?
Well, the first one is our first championship that we won, because we kind of couldn't quite get there, and then I guess it was over at Millersville when we played Conestoga Valley, and I think we weren't the favorite.
No, they were the defending champs and had 4 starters
Had
back.
What year was
Jones.
that? Do you recall?
That was 92.
92.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we had been there that was our 7th year.
Okay.
And we finally broke the ice, and so you kind of remember the first.
Yeah.
For me personally, I remember the first and the last, the best. The ones in between.
Yeah.
We walked in the gym that day, and
Right.
and as an assistant coach, Dave has a lot of responsibilities that I don't want to have to deal with, and Coach Walk now is the same way, I'm sure. And so in those days, the visiting team got to pick which basket you wanted to go the first half or the second half.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just look at him and say, "What do you think?" You go, "Oh, we're going that way the first half, and that way the second half." He had
Okay.
it all down, and it did
Okay.
pay off for us.
Wow. So, what were the duties that he had? What do you remember?
Well, they're a little different now than they were, but I kind of looked at the little things. I tried to pick out when we would scout. I would try to find a flaw in another player's,
Okay.
another team's player that we could exploit. That basket thing at Millersville was because the home basket for Millersville wasn't the same as the
It was
visit
a
with
little
the other
bit.
side.
Let's put it this way: it was a little bit older and a little bit looser.
Yeah. I looked, they had 2 bolts instead of 4.
Okay.
And so it gave you a little
So
bit of
he
it.
picked up all those things. So,
but you know, that's kind of what I like to do even now when I can, is find, you know, does this player have a favorite thing that we can stop, and I you know, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but.
Well, I know you're saying they're the little things, but I think those little things are the big things.
yeah, I thought Coach Brown was very good at looking at players, whether it be a scouting live or looking at tape, and saying the tendencies of each individual player. Do they like to dribble right? Do they shoot the jumper? Does he shoot the jumper going left? Does he shoot the jumper going right? Some players are great right-handed. They're great shooting the jumper going on their left, but when they go right, they're going to drive. But so, and the post players that our post players would guard, and even today, I'm sure that he's given that message. You know, Coach Walk and him are on the same page, is giving that message on the scout report to their players now on playing post defense and some of the moves that the post players have. Although today there's not as many post players as there was when I coached. When I coached, there was a lot of people that played in the post, and today there's more of a spread out offense. So
yeah, they all want to shoot the three.
They all want to shoot the three. So there's not as many guys back to the basket, but when I coached, there was a lot of back to the basket players.
What was the year again? I forget that 3 points came into play.
All I know is when I talked to Bobby Young, he goes, "Coach, it was my junior year." Okay, so Bobby will tell you. So his junior year was 87, 88.
Okay, so that's when that happened. Okay,
87, 88.
That changed things around a lot, didn't it?
I would say the first year we were all sort of like, just shoot it. Okay, if it's a three, great.
Yeah.
And I was not one of the guys that say get out there in that three line. But as the time went on, then you started focusing more on it. It did change because it changed your help rules and responsibility. Like the worst thing you could do now is to leave a good shooter to help, and then they throw it to the shooter for an open shot. So that's actually the worst play in basketball. But back in the early 80s and 70s, that was a play that you practice all the time. Keep the ball out of the middle, make them throw it to the perimeter.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing that you feel strongly about, too, is having your guys work on foul shooting, because that can make or break some games that we have seen, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead, Coach.
Talk about that.
We just had that conversation
on the way over here.
This morning. We had that conversation.
Yeah, right now, we're not the best foul shooting team, and it bothers me. I know. Well, I was never as good as Coach Goodling, but I was a decent foul shooter, and it drives me crazy when it's called a free throw for a reason. It's free, and but kids have to work on it, and they have to work on it the proper way. And I don't think that sometimes just going up and shooting to shoot doesn't always do it. You got to. We talked about this today. You got to kind of put pressure on yourself when you're not in a game, so when there's a game pressure, you don't feel it as much. So it's a lot of games are won and lost at the free throw line.
Yeah, they really are, aren't they?
It's amazing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's also one game that frustrated me as a spectator, and I'm sure frustrated the two of you. It was a playoff game where I don't remember who the team was, but I know you'll remember all of this. They literally had stopped and throwing around and throwing around and throwing around, and we didn't get, and it was one of these games where we're like, just play.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that was?
Well, if it was at Hershey Park, it was against Lebanon in the quarterfinals, and I think the final score might have been 30-29 or 31.
Warwick did that to us too.
Warwick did that at home, but Lebanon, Paul Blackburn did it, and
I almost pulled,
and he did a great job. And he's a great coach, and I know exactly what game it was because we were losing at halftime 19-9, and we just didn't have the ball. But then we got the ball, and we actually got the lead on them, and we ended up winning by 1. They missed the last shot, and Sam Minder got the winning rebound, I think.
Okay.
In that game, do you remember that? Yeah.
Winning rebound.
So
the winning rebound.
So how did that affect your players with this? I mean, that had to be an interesting situation.
Well, it was a cat and mouse game, right?
Yeah.
Because you're if you go out and get them and they go by it and score, you're in trouble. So you had to sort of be patient on defense, and we got a little lucky.
I think, and they tried to exploit Ryan. We had a really great player, but he was bigger. He's not going to be able to guard
a out.
That was Ryan Butt.
Yeah. And I think they couldn't stop him.
They couldn't stop him.
But
and that's
if
why
we didn't have the ball,
Yeah.
there's nobody to stop.
Right.
So that's what that was their strategy, and it almost worked.
Yeah. Well, that was one of those games that
Yeah, and I that was a great call by Coach Blackburn to do that.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that was.
We had some. I mean, throughout the years, we had some great games with Lebanon.
Yeah.
I think we go back to our first year, we beat them. They were the league champions, but we beat them twice.
Right.
But we couldn't beat Manheim Township.
Right. They beat us.
They beat us 3 times.
Yeah,
right.
Crazy.
But,
so you just never know. It's it's what happens out there at the moment, right?
Yeah.
A lot of
But
different.
Dave's been been around a lot a lot of teams, and recently the 2023 Hempfield team
and the 18
and the 18 team really did great. The 23 team was special. They won the league title and got in the state tournament. And 18 was very good with Ryan Moffitt, I believe, David Martin Robinson, and they advanced into the state tournament deep. And so he's had a lot of he has probably 7 league championships.
7 or 8, somewhere in there.
7 or 8 league championships, a lot of Section 1 titles.
Okay.
So it's still rolling. The ball's still
It
rolling.
is rolling.
And he wants a couple more before he gets out, right?
Yeah. So how long do you see this going on?
As long as I can.
Okay.
To be honest with you, it gives me something to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I enjoy doing it. And so, and my wife wants me to do it. I think she wants me out of the house. So she doesn't have a problem with it.
And I like when he does it because I can call him up and say, okay, how'd practice go today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's regular phone calls too.
So again, as long as, they want me, and as long as I'm able physically and all that, I would probably keep doing it. But you never know. It could be this year. It could be next year. I don't. There's no timeline. Put it that way.
Well, I think the wealth of experience and what you bring to the game and what you understand is so you can't even put a price tag on that, can you, Warren?
No. He was my right hand man when I coached, and I surrounded myself with good people. Coach Brown.
Yeah.
When I first got there, I brought Coach Petrie over. We had all York County staff.
Oh, wow.
When I left, I had Coach Bellew, who's now at Penn Manor, Coach Walk, who's now the head coach,
Right.
Coach Gerber.
Right.
But you have to have people like Dave to support you.
Well, here's something too. You put together a surprise party for him to celebrate 40 years with players and that sort of thing. Tell us about that.
Coach
You
Walk,
were surprised, weren't you?
Coach Walk and I talked about this back in the fall, and we were both talking, and he said to me, he goes, "We can pull this off." So he contacted players that were under his guidance, and I contacted players that played for me, and they all played under Coach Brown.
Right.
So we just told them to show up at the game, don't say a word, Coach Brown doesn't know it, and all of a sudden, go ahead, you tell them.
What happened?
Well, I'm doing my normal thing. At the end of the JV game, I wait till it's over, and then when the clock starts, I start my clock so kids know how much time we have, when to come out, and I'm out there doing my normal thing, and Coach Walkerman comes out and says, Coach Walk needs to see you. I said, but they haven't started the clock yet. And he goes, well, I'll do that. So then he goes, and I don't know what he talked about, some kind of crap. And then we go out, and I'm thinking, and then all of a sudden I see my grandchildren walking in, and I'm going, oh no. And then I knew something was up at that point.
So how did this unfold?
So I think the teams warmed up, No, they didn't. They didn't warm up. So we did it before the teams warmed
Because
up.
Wilson sat there at the end.
Yeah. So before the teams warmed up, we got all the former basketball players, and there were a lot of former assistant coaches out there. We had about I counted like 68 people out there to come back to honor Coach Brown his 40th year. So.
Wow.
I don't think we made him give a speech that night,
No.
but we gave him before the game, because he would have said, "Box out, you guys, don't forget." But we gave him a basketball to celebrate his 40 years.
And that was signed, I guess?
It wasn't signed.
Something.
It had something on it.
We had something on it.
That's what it
And,
had on
40 years. And
40
Hempfield
years,
basketball.
yeah.
we had a lot of guys show up that I haven't seen for a while,
Yeah.
so it was really cool. And then afterwards, they had a little get together after the game.
Wow.
And that was awesome fellowship
Yeah.
with players from
Mark Hessinger.
Mark Hessinger, 1986, to the players in the 2023
Yeah.
championship
Yeah,
team
yeah,
under
yeah,
Coach
yeah.
Walk were there,
Wow.
and it was
Yeah, I saw some of them before the game, but during the Christmas tournament is when you see some guys show up.
Yeah.
Right.
So I didn't think him. I remember seeing Mark, and it
Timing
didn't
was
dawn on me
everything,
at
right?
all.
Yeah.
Didn't dawn on
No,
me at all. Except I saw a childhood friend who just happened to be there because we were playing Suburban.
Okay.
Because I used to know a lot of my old friends went to Suburban,
Mm-hmm.
and then but he had nothing to do with it. But after the fact, I said, "Is that why he's here?"
Yeah, I-
No, that wasn't
That is
because I haven't seen him in
is-
30 years.
Steve Snyder, you talking
Well,
about?
no,
Oh.
Steve Brickner. I
Oh, okay, Steve, yeah.
Steve Snyder, who's
Yeah,
I grew up with, but
Yeah.
went to he was a reporter
I
at
think
Patriot, and every time
Yeah.
we played Lebanon or Cedar Crest,
Yeah,
I might
he's
see
always
him.
there, yes.
We brought a guy that I haven't seen in again
Yeah.
20, 30 years
Wow.
to the game because it was Suburban.
Right.
I said,
Right.
"Did you bring him for that?" He said, "No, he had nothing
Yeah.
to do with it."
That was great. Wow, what a
Yeah.
wonderful evening and a good time together. Yeah, just to celebrate what you've done. Well, I think the two of you have done a lot for basketball here in Lancaster County and as we stretch out beyond. I appreciate you taking time today to talk about it too, and wishing you a great season coming up this winter. Looking
Thank you.
forward to some good basketball, and with you, Warren, as you play internationally and continue to do that. Love basketball, and you've made it exciting over the years, and I appreciate it. Thank you for joining us today. It was Behind the Lines Goes Inside Sports.